Hello guys, how you guys doing? Good? Hoje tem uma entrevista muito top para vocês com dois amigos meus muito especiais. Um vai contar a experiência dele aprendendo inglês e o outro aprendendo português, ok? Se inscreva no nosso canal, compartilha e vem com a gente. Together we stand. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Good? I'm really happy today to have my friends here, Thalisson Campos.
Hi guys.
And I have Ben Barbanente as
How's
well.
it going, guys?
Awesome. So today, guys, we're gonna be talking a little bit about their experience learning a second language. Okay, for Thalisson, it was English, and for Ben, it was Portuguese. Right. So I'm gonna get started here with Thalisson. Thalisson, please tell us why did you start learning English first place?
So I started learning English because when I lived in Brazil, it was always my dream to learn English. And when I was a kid, I always watched the movies and stuff that has English on it, and I really like it. And I said, I think to myself, I said, I need to really learn that, So, and when I moved to the United States, I had the opportunity to have this contact with English, and then from there, I started to learn little by little. Yeah, so it was really good.
Nice. And how about you, Ben? Why did you start learning Portuguese?
For me, in my teenage years, I was in high school, I think. Because of the church I go to the Christian congregation in the United States, or Congregação Cristã no Brasil. Most of the community inside our church is Brazilian and speak Portuguese. And since I wanted to be really involved, I started learning little by little around 2015, where as I would go, I never really formally studied. Like I tried opening a textbook, but it just didn't work for me. So little by little, just picking a conversation here and there, making a lot of mistakes, and using my buddy Google Translate. But over the years, it kind of added up, and here I am.
Cool. So, do you guys consider that maybe not going to textbooks or something that's not mandatory, right? What's your opinion, Ben, on that?
I don't think anything's mandatory because everybody has a unique way of learning.
Mhm.
So some people taking it down to the textbooks and filling out worksheet, that's gonna be the perfect way for them to learn anything, whether it's languages, math, doesn't whatever the subject is. But for some people, it's kind of as they go. Especially with languages, it's all about exposure and all about using it and not being afraid to make mistakes.
Okay, that's I think the way you learn it, right, Allison?
Yeah, definitely was that because I never use a lot of textbooks for me myself. Usually, I listen to a lot of music or watch movies or So I put the movies, but I had the words that in the bottom
The
that helps.
subtitles.
Yeah, the
Subtitles.
subtitles that help a lot. So for me, that was my experience. I never used too much textbooks. So.
Okay. So, in your opinion, like you guys agree that being exposed to the language, it's more important.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we try to do at K.O.S. It's what's called the natural approach. By people being exposed to the language, they will gain, especially vocabulary, and that's also why we have these interviews here. So, Taliesin, how was it like when you first started learning English? How was it? Was it too hard for you? It was easy. How was it for you?
For me in the beginning, it was really hard because when I moved to Boston in 2016, I had this my first job that I work, and I had a lot of difficult to understand my coworkers and my boss
Mhm.
because they talk to me, give me instructions what to do, and sometimes I was very confused because I was not like my English was not that good in that time. So it was really hard, but little by little, when you start to listen to them every day and pay attention every word and every sentence, that really helped me. And I think that was, I mean, my experience in that, and helped me a little bit to have friends that talk in English, the American ones, and so that I could pay attention in them, and was pretty much that's it. I mean,
Okay, how about you, Ben? How?
What really helped me, and it was extremely difficult at the beginning, like really, really hard. But having the right people around me where I was comfortable making mistakes and learning, and a lot of it wasn't just through actual conversation, but a lot of it was through talking group chats on WhatsApp where they were all in Portuguese, where for me to understand what was going on, what was being talked about, I would kind of have to look up a word here, look up a word there, and figuring out how the words conjugate. Also, my background in Spanish helped a little bit too. So as I went on little by little, it was definitely very hard at the beginning. I definitely understood more than I was able to speak. But with time goes on, it builds on top of itself so that you're able to, the more you go, the easier it gets.
Okay. How about you, Thalisson? How long did it take you so you could feel comfortable to talk or to have a conversation in English?
For me, in the beginning, like Ben said, for our community in church is mostly all Brazilians. So when I live in Boston, I didn't have a lot of contacts with Americans because I was around a lot of Brazilians. So I live in Boston for 3 years, but took me, I guess, like a year to talk like good and understand and, had a conversation with them. But I mean, this definitely goes for every person, in their own time, For me, it took me a year, maybe because I was not putting a lot of effort or I didn't even had contacts a lot with Americans. But when I moved to Chicago, the city that I live now, I had more contact with Americans. So helped me to develop my English very fast. And today I can say that maybe about a year, was the time for me to really understand and be able to talk with other people.
Okay. How about you, Ben? How long did it take you to feel confident and comfortable to have a conversation in Portuguese?
So with Portuguese, probably I grew up in Chicago my whole life, and I had very limited exposure to Portuguese.
You're 100% American,
I'm
right?
100% American. My parents are American. I'm American. I don't have one drop of Brazilian in me. However, with time and as I grew up, I picked up, and once I started traveling more for things with my church, whatever, reunião de mocidades, viagens especiais para nossa igreja, for our church, I would have that exposure, and more, I had to be around this, so I had to adapt. And my personality has I've always been comfortable making mistakes.
Good.
So for me, I was already spitting out super, super, super broken Portuguese, saying pretty much everything wrong. And that was pretty much my first year of learning. But I was able to make myself understood, and I was able to more or less understand what they were trying to say to me. And then, as with time, it kind of polished itself a little bit.
Good. Yeah, that's the first thing we always try to push people is to lose this fear to make mistakes, because it kind of blocks you from developing your learning in the language, right? Yes.
Yes.
And how, Taliesin, is there any maybe tips that you'd like to give to our audience that helped you learn English that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, definitely. I believe that what helped me and maybe can help other ones is to have this contact with music. For me, I love music, is my passion. So listen to American music, and look in the words to try to follow. That helped me, to learn how they pronounce the word, and especially too for people that like to watch movies. That's a very good option too. So you can watch movies and see how the actors they pronounce the words, because they had to pronounce really formal. So that really helps me too, and I think this is a very good tip for people that are looking for listen and understand what they're listen.
Cool.
So
How about you, Ben? Something that helped you in learning Portuguese that you would like to share with us?
Honestly, it was basic conversation. It was learning a lot of the basics to be able to how to start a conversation, how to be able to connect to people. So you really have no choice. If you want to maintain a friendship, you need to develop that language.
yeah.
And again, like I said before, not being afraid to make mistakes. Movies are really good. I think that the way of it's entertaining as well as you be able to understand and look back and to refer. That's pretty much it though. Like for me, and then the key is always getting started.
Yes.
That's the hard part.
Yes.
It's like when you're building a building, it's hard to start that foundation, but when you build up, and it gets easier and easier because everything's already set. The foundation's already established. So it's always the beginning is always hard.
True, that's true. Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree with you guys. Another thing that we always try to help people in their learning process is also to talk about the culture, of the country. So, Taliesin, how was this first contact with the American culture? Was it too shocking for you? Was that something that you admired? You loved it? How was it?
I mean, I really had a shock in the beginning because in Brazil, the Brazilians has a different way to approach each other to talk. So we say that they are very fun and they had a lot of fun and is a happy people. Um, but when I got here was different a little bit how they act, how they live their lives here. But I really like enjoy to get to know them, get to know the culture better, And for me, it was really shocked in the beginning, but I like it after a couple of years, and trying to understand and living here too helped me a lot to get used to with that. So for me, it was amazing experience.
Cool. How about you, Ben? How was your experience with the Brazilian culture?
So for me, the way my parents raised me was always to very be open minded and very accepting of other cultures and very always open minded to it. In middle school, I grew up with friends from all different kinds of races and cultures. I had friends that were Indian, I had friends that were Hispanic, I had friends that were European, I had friends that were from all different kinds of races and stuff. So that exposure of always that same culture
Mhm.
is of like different cultures is nothing new to me. So for me, when getting used to the Brazilian culture wasn't exactly this big shock for me. And plus, my parents always taught me to always be open and
Mhm.
always loving and to receive new ideas as like new something that informs who you are instead of it's something different. But our difference is what makes us wonderful, and having these different exposures is what makes a human give adds quality to you as a human being. So I think for me, I didn't have a lot of time with the culture just because of the way I was raised. So for me, I was able to blend in relatively okay.
Cool. Awesome. Do you guys plan to learn other languages? I know Taliesin can speak Spanish, Ben too, but maybe would you like to improve your Spanish or maybe learn another language?
Yeah, I think. I mean, like you said, I'm not perfect speaking in Spanish, but I really try. And my fiance, her family is from Mexico, so that exposed me a little bit to the Spanish, so that helps me too. But I really like Italian too. I think Italian is a nice language that I really look forward in the future to learn. That Italian is a very like romantic language.
Yeah, same here. I really like Italian. How about you, Benjamin? Is there any other languages that maybe you'd like to either improve? I know you can speak a little bit of Spanish, also a little bit of Italian, but I don't know, maybe improve those languages or learn another one?
I grew up speaking Spanish because in school I've been
Mhm.
taking Spanish classes since I was in first grade,
Mhm.
since I was in primary school. So I've always had a pretty big exposure to Spanish, even longer than I have actually in Portuguese.
Mhm.
However, over the years, because since I go to school in Florida and is surrounded by Brazilians, I haven't used a lot of my Spanish, but much more my Portuguese. So I understand pretty much almost everything, I mean, by the grace of God and everything, but my speaking is not the same as what it used to be in Spanish. So I definitely want to
Got
get
it.
that to where it was.
Mhm.
And with Italian too, it's my culture, my parents are Italian American. So I definitely wanted to really learn that, and I really enjoy it. I'm taking Italian right now in school
Mm.
and I really like it.
That's nice.
But there's another language, maybe French, because I feel like those are the languages that you can connect to the most people on a wide, basis, where we have multiple countries around the world that speak French, multiple that speak Portuguese, multiple that speak Spanish. And wherever you go, you can always try to find someone that speaks any of those five languages.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much connect to someone anywhere and anytime that you need to.
Cool.
Survival skills.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, we are heading towards the end of our interview here with my two friends. But before we go, we have this call. It's called the We Chat. Okay, so it's gonna be very quick. We Chat. It's a quick chat. So I need short and quick answers. Okay, are you guys ready?
Let's go.
do it.
All
Let's
right,
go.
cool. So start with Thalisson and Ben. Okay. So black or white?
White.
Ben, black or white?
Black.
Pão de queijo or picanha?
Picanha.
Ben,
Picanha.
picanha. One is mineiro, the other American loves pão de queijo, but they skip on the pão de queijo and chose picanha. I would choose picanha too. Farm or city?
Farm.
Ben,
City.
you're a city boy, huh? Yeah, Chicago boy. Okay. Brazil to me is
My home.
To me, it's something just different, and I love it. I love Brazil.
okay. So it's a love.
Yeah.
Okay. Family for me is
Is my everything.
Ben.
Everything.
Everything. Okay. God to me is
This is my father.
For me, God is the creator. He's everything. He's the reason that we're here, the reason why we're doing this interview, and the reason that our purpose on this earth is because of God.
awesome. Glory to God. Yeah. English to me is
My second language.
that was easy, huh? Ben.
My natural language.
Okay. And Portuguese for me is
My first language, of course.
Ben.
Portuguese is fun.
It's fun. Okay. All right, guys. I'm so happy to first of all to be here in Chicago with this really good friends of mine, and to have this opportunity to bring them here and share their experience with all of our followers on K.O.S. and students and anyone that's gonna watch this interview as well. So just a couple final words, Taliesin, that you'd like to share with our audience.
So it was really, have fun time here with you guys and with Kayo and Ben. And I said, follow Kayo here and the K.O.S. They are awesome, and you guys gonna learn a lot with them. You have the best professor here, so just follow him and stick with him. He's gonna help you guys.
Yeah, just reminding you guys that's K.O.S. It's K.O. Barra and Steven. So it's a duo here. My partner Steven is an awesome guy too. How about you, Ben? Couple final words for our audience.
I'll go ahead and say it in Portuguese, if that's okay?
Sure, of course.
Gente, o K.O.S. é uma forma maravilhosa para aprender uma nova idioma, especialmente para aprender a aprendizagem do inglês. É muito bom, os professores são top demais, são camisa 10, sabe? Então, vocês não vão arrepender de fazer esse investimento com seu dinheiro e também no seu futuro para aprender uma nova idioma e também abrir mais portas na tua vida, na sua carreira, especialmente na parte de idioma, porque é muito necessário às vezes nessa parte da aprendizagem das línguas. Então vale a pena, eles são muito bons, são muito carinhosos, eles ajudam bastante, eles são pacientes, e vocês não vão arrepender de fazer esse investimento. Então vai lá, segue aí, ele já falou o nome do Instagram e não vai valer a pena. Tem muita matéria boa que tá saindo daqui a pouco.
É isso aí, beleza. Don't forget to follow my friends here too. Thalisson Campos. We're gonna have their Instagrams. Follow them. Don't forget to follow our Instagram at K.O.S. Language Tutoring. Like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and together we stand. Thank you guys.